Hi guys! Today, I'm gonna show you how to solve for another surface area and volume of another solid figure. Can you guess what it is? The one that's violet? If you say that's a cone, you are correct. So, do ba remember a cone? What is a cone? Ang cone ay similar ng pyramid, just like what you saw here. Kaya lang if you notice, the base is kinda different. The base here is a polygon, not like a cone. We always have a typical circular base. Okay? Now, we know already that the cone is just like a pyramid because the pinnacle reaches all the way to its tippy top, which is located at the very center. Tama? Doon sa pinakagitnaan. Just like the pyramid. Now, all we need to do now, our job or our task is to solve for the surface area and volume of the cone. Let's start off with the surface area. To solve for the surface area of the cone, the formula goes like this. Ito yung formula. Ang formula sa paghahanap ng surface area ng cone, di ba, surface area ng cone is equivalent to, di ba, pi r squared. What does pi r squared mean? Pi r squared pertains to the circular base. Since your base is a circle, you will have to do pi times r squared. That's the easy part. But the problem there is, what about this guy? The one that, ano yun? The one that has this thing. You know that a cone is like this. It starts off with a right triangle such that the right angle has been rotated in a 360-degree motion. Which is why it goes around the circle, which also then forms a sector of the circle. And actually, ang formula dyan ay, kasi po you have to multiply that by pi. Kasi po pi is pi going around. And then times the radius because it starts with the right triangle. And then times the lateral height. Kasi po ganito yun. Look oh. Diba pi times r squared? Diba? That's the area of one circle. Now, plus pi times r times L. Anong ibig sabihin to? Because the r times L, that pertains to the base times height of the triangle. Diba? R stands for the radius. Di ba ang radius ay dito hanggang dito? Tapos L stands for the lateral height. The lateral height which is this one. Not the literal height. Kasi po, di ba remember, it's just like the same like as if it were the pyramid. You know naman in the pyramid, we have the slant height or which we call the slope and the literal height which we call the tunay na height. So we're talking about the lateral height which is the slope. Okay? Radius times the lateral height and then multiply that by pi because you're going around it. Kaya nga yun. Okay? Alright? Now, here's how it works. So, ito yung formula ng area, surface area ng cone. First of all, let's start with the area of the circle. For the area of the circle, you're in luck. Because ang gagawin namin ay, you can just, ano yun? You can just get the area of one circle by doing pi times radius squared. So, our formula stays the same. 3.14, which is the constant value of pi, times the radius squared, that's 5 squared. Diba? Now, it becomes 3.14 times 25. Tama? Let's do it here. 3.14 times 25. Diba? Multiplying your multiplication table. Ano ba? 649, 624. 1 plus 5 plus 2, 8. Yan. You should get, ano ba? That is the area of the circle. Ay, wait pala. Wait pala ha, I forgot to mention. That is the diameter of the circle. Kasi po, we need to get the radius. Kasi po, ang binigay ko sa inyo ay yung diameter. Kaya naman sa tingin ko mali. That's the diameter pala I gave you. So, we need to convert that to the radius. So, to convert that to the radius, you know by definition means the diameter is twice the radius. So, you have to divide it by 2, which gives you 2.5. So, dapat 2.5 na lang to. Then, 2.5 squared. Then, 2.5 squared becomes 3.14 times 6.25. Actually, that will take a lot of time to do the multiplication process. So, you're very lucky that I was able to do the Microsoft Excel solution sheet. Ito po yun. So, tingnan mo yung Microsoft Excel, di ba? Ito yung base. Ang base na ginawa ko ay ito. Ang ginawa ko ay 3.14, tapos yung asterisk which means multiplication. 5 halves times 2. 5 halves. Di ba remember 5 halves, di ba? That is the same as 2 and 1 half or 2.5. Di ba? Carat 2. Because this thing, this 5.2, that 5 divided by 2 that you see here is raised to the second power. Because it, you know naman, it performs the order of operation in Microsoft Excel. So 5 halves comes first, becomes 2.5. Then caret it out, that becomes, ano yun? 6.25. Then 3.14 times 6.25, you should get the answer of 19.625. This one naman, I tried it the other way naman. I did it the direct to the point formula. 3.14 times 2.5 squared. And you should still get the same answer din. So that is the area of one base. So ang area ng base ay 19.625 square meters. Now we're still not yet done. Kasi but the next step that we need to do is pi times r times L. Which is the same, which is like this. Pi is always 3.14, di ba? Times the radius. Ano yung radius? Hindi 5, it's 2.5. Unless you want to use 5, then you have to divide by 2. Di ba? And then ano yung L? Ang sabi dito ang L ay 8. 8. So you're gonna have to multiply that now. So 2.5 times 8. Di ba? 2.5 times 8. Di ba? 25 times 8 is equivalent to 150. Tama ba? Yeah, 200. So dapat 200 ang formula nito, di ba? Teka lang 40, 8 times 2, 16. Tama. 20. Now all you have is 3.14 times 20. Actually, to tell you the truth, you're lucky. Di ba? Kasi what just so happens that implies the application of multiplication table. So tama, the answer is 62.8. 62.8. Kung sa titingin mo dyan sa Microsoft Excel, yun po yung surface, yun po yung area ng slant. 62.8. Tama. Now we've already gotten the surface area. Very easy lang yan. The hard part is memorizing the formula. Now, we sum this up all together. Ito yung ginawa ko. I summed up all the two values because remember, it says here, di ba remember yung base ay yung area ng base. And then plus the curved height which is pi times r times L. We should get this answer. If you want to know what did I do here, ganito yung formula ko. Yan. So we got 82.425 square meters. Yun po yung sagot. Okay? So there we have it. But that's just the tip of the iceberg because we just got the surface area. We also need to get the volume. Now, how do we get the volume? First of all, we know that the volume of a cone is equivalent to 1/3 of pi times r squared, which pertains to the area of the base, times the height. Okay? So, yun. So, lucky thing, we don't need to do pi times r squared anymore because we know that pi r squared is already 19.625. The problem is we do not know what is the height. Look closely again. We already have a height. Yes, lucky you. You already have your height as 8 meters. Kaya lang, inisip nila yung mga tao na yan, especially for those newbies here, inisip nila yun yung height. Yes, that's the height, but that's not the height we're pertaining to because that's only used for surface area. But since we're talking about volume, you need to find the literal height, as in literal na tunay na height, which is this guy. Not the slope. We don't care about the slopes unless we are playing surface area. But since we're talking about volume, we need the literal height now. That's why yung capital H to represent the literal height. Okay? So hanapin yung literal height namin. But thank God, we have got another good news. You can remember just like what I told you, even if you do not know where the literal height has gone, or even if the literal height does not have its measure, what is important? You know that this forms a right triangle. Diba? Sinabi ko sa inyo that this is also a right triangle. And it's being rotated. So therefore, you can still play the game called the Pythagorean theorem. So mag-Pythagorean theorem na tayo. So we know that this is a squared, b squared, and c squared. So dapat ito yung formula namin. 2.5 squared plus b squared equals 8 squared. We know this is 6.25, this is b squared, this is 64. Subtract both sides, we should get 57.75. 57.75. Now we take the square root. We do not know what the value is. But lucky thing, I've already done it na in Microsoft Excel. Here's how I did it. So tingnan mo to ha. Ito yung Pythagorean theorem na ginawa ko. The basis, ito yun. Diba remember this is 2.5. This is 8. And then square ko to, diba? I squared it. Same pa rin with this one. Square ko to. And then, I got the difference of the two so that I can get 57.75. Now, from this, I was able to take the square root of that number that you see that's being highlighted, and we should get the height of 7.599 something. Or unless your teacher will ask you to round it off, you can still leave it that way. Kasi about you all this, that's already approximately, malapit na siya sa 6. 7.6. Okay? So, yun yung height ng cone. The literal height. Now, we do the formula now. So, ang height ay 7.6. Now, this the formula. Ito yun. So, therefore, the area of the base is this. 19.625 and then this one base times height. What I did was, the area of the base times the height, we should get 149.13. And then this one divide by 3. Kung ano yung sagot ko dito, na naka-highlight, I divide by 3, so we can get this answer of 49.71 cubic meters. At yun yung volume. Kaya lang, that is already your final answer unless your teacher would ask you to convert that to liquefied units. If your teacher were to ask you to convert that to liquefied units, the first thing you need to do is to convert that to cm. Pero paano magagawin yun? Ito yun yung conversion table na ginawa ko. We know that 1 meter is equivalent to 100 cm, di ba? We played the game called Jump the Frog method. And this is what I did. Gets ko na kasi po, I converted it to cm. So, ganun to. Then this one, I multiplied by 100 so I can get this value. Lucky thing I've already made that table just for you. And then this is for cubic naman. If you want cubic, 1 cubic meter is equivalent to 1 million cubic centimeters. At bakit ganun? Remember 100 cm, you have to cube it. So 100 cubed is worth 1 million. Count the zeros lamang. And you should get something like this. And then do you remember where did I get the 149,137 something? That is the volume of the ano yun? Teka lang ha. Baka mali mo, mali na naman ako. Teka lang, hindi siya volume kasi po, that's what I got. Ang tunay na volume ay dito. Dapat it should be 49.7123 times 3 times 1 million. So, dapat this should be, wait lang ha. Siguro what you call this, you may need to watch part 2 na lang. I will fix this lang and then I will show to you in the part 2. Ha?